one. 7 pars.
Well,
One triple.
Shout out our potential first sponsor.
Yeah. Thank you, Garmin R10. I'll show you something after the show. A little something I'm working on. A little project I'm working on.
There's something bad about to happen to me. I don't know what, but I feel it coming.
We went to Lake Texoma. Got on the boat for several days.
Okay.
So my wife's parents' friends have a boat out there, and it's awesome. So we'll go out every day on the boat. We rent a cabin up there.
Sick.
We ran into some like kids. So we were with her cousins, but they're younger. So like 15, 16.
Yeah.
So I was running around with one of them. We're going to play some hoop. Some little kid out there. He wants to challenge us. And I'm like, he's 9. I'm like, all right, buddy. And then the cousin was like, you want to play king of the court? I'm like, whatever you want to do. Just make it. And then loser gets out. He's like, yeah. All right. So they can't guard me because I'm 34 and the kid's 9. And the cousin keeps going, back him down. I'm like, no, he's 9. I'm not going to back down a 9-year-old.
Yeah. You're like,
sky hooks.
Shoot the J in his face.
Yeah. So I'm just launching threes. That's all I'm doing. So it was crazy. Playing Nerf basketball has significantly helped my actual basketball because I focused a lot on form, and it's a small hoop.
Yeah, that little hoop in your backyard.
Mm-hmm. And the little one above the door. And so I start off. What did I start off? 4 out of 5 from 3. I was like, dang. And then I missed my next 9. But then I hit my last 4. So I finished I made 8, missed 10. So yeah, I finished 10 of 18. I was like, wow, that's what that feels like. Yeah. It's cooking. Then whenever the cousin, because he's like a high school quarterback, I'd back him down and just miss layups and get the offensive rebound and shove him out of the way because I got 60 pounds on him. And get out of here.
Yeah, get on out of here. We're not doing all that.
Don't you dare jump for that rebound. That one's mine.
That's hilarious. Yeah, playing basketball against young bucks is... there was a group, what was that, last spring? I was playing quite a bit. We'd go play at this park, and these young kids started showing up, 14, 15-year-old kids. And they were actually pretty skilled, good basketball players. But it was still fun, talking crap. And we were still just big enough to be able to overpower them.
Kind of bully them a little bit.
They hadn't hit that second growth spurt yet.
They gotten tall but not thick.
Yeah, you know how it is, right? When you grow, you're like, oh no, I need to grow into the rest of my body. Well, that's cool, man. You catch some fish?
I did. We limited out pretty quickly. We were done by 10:45 in the morning. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Came back. Vacationing with kids is basically the same thing that you do at home, just in a different location. You're still parenting all the time, but it is nice to have other people around to distract them.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then came home and golfed a little bit yesterday, broke my record. So the simulator is paying off.
Is it?
Yeah. So what's nice is I've got my distances really dialed on my irons. And I was hitting them pretty well yesterday. My driver was not good, but my irons were, I think I had, 30? So y'all know what green and regulation means. Basically you put it on the green -2. Yeah. Cause you're assuming a 2 putt. So if it's a par 4, you're supposed to put it on the green in 2. Mm-hmm. And my green and regulation percentage was 33%. So it's
pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good for me because normally because I'm pretty good, decent at 2 putting.
Yeah.
But yeah, 35 putts. So had some 1 putts, had a couple 3 putts. But yeah, my green and regulation was awesome. And that I can really thank to the 7 pars. That's a big one. 7 pars.
Well,
1 triple.
Shout out our potential first sponsor.
Yeah. Thank you, Garmin R10. I'll show you something after the show. A little something I'm working on. A little project I'm working on.
It's business. It's business time. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say it's time for business. It's business time.
Who is that?
It's business. It's business time.
As the flight of the Concords with business time.
I couldn't tell if that was Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake.
They're talented. They're a talented parody group. So I had two. I had two. First of all, I actually have three things. First, there was a matcha store opening up, and I'm like, it's just like some stupid name. I'm like, I already got like 5 names better than that. Like Matcha Do About Nothing, Matcha Made in Heaven. I was like, what are you doing with like whatever your name was? So anyway, that guy needs to call me right now because I got way better names for his business than he does.
Was that near y'all's house or what?
Yeah, it's across the street from my favorite coffee shop. So sorry, I just had to get that off my head.
Is that what's the coffee shop? Just out of
coffee shop is Ola Cafe in Bishop Arts.
Nice.
Big fans.
I don't think I've ever
We're
been
big
there.
fans. I'll have to take
it
you.
out.
They opened a new location right across the street. Kind of like how when we moved across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the two business notes I have is the Sunday Ticket lawsuit, and then the Dallas Star is doing something really interesting with viewership. So first, Sunday Ticket lawsuit. Basically, there was the antitrust suit that was saying that why do I got to pay for all the games? I should just be able to buy one game, more or less. And the Los Angeles jury awarded $4.6 billion in damages, at least.
Wow.
Because the damages could be tripled up to $15 billion. Split between the bars and residents between 2011 and 2023.
That's ridiculous, man. I'm going to disagree.
With the judge?
So the judgment takes the side that you should be able to buy per week, essentially?
I think more or less they were basically saying that, if I understand this correctly,
what's the cliff note?
You have people who want to watch their hometown team out of market have to buy the entire Sunday Ticket. So if you're a Cowboys fan, but you live in Wisconsin,
correct,
you have to pay $500 to get all the games. And you're like, I only want one game. And so that, I think, was the gist of it, was like they were operating as a monopoly and collusion by saying you have to buy all the team's games. And so antitrust rules say you can't do that.
Welcome to subscription. I don't want to pay for Netflix, but I do want to watch Casa de Papel. That's the model.
Well, I think what they were saying is...
Don't buy it then.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
against that.
I think what the NFL was scared of...
I'm hoping you'll take the other side so we can debate this.
Yeah, I'll say what I think is... I agree with their judgment in the sense of it is ridiculous that like I don't want to watch the Browns and I have to buy Browns games. Like I don't want to. Stop it. Or I don't want to watch the Bears. The Bears were trash last year. Much better this year, but like they were bad. Why would I want to pay for that? Especially because part of the judgment too was that ESPN offered let's see here. Jurors learned that ESPN had proposed taking the out-of-market games priced at $70 and to include single game packages. And the NFL said, nah, we like having the price really high. Trying to maximize the profit.
Yeah.
But there was also another proposal where they were going to end Sunday Ticket and just put them on individual channels, put every game on, which I liked the best. I'm like, let's go. Do that.
I mean, that's kind of like NBA League Pass. I have that. And you
might win a lawsuit here in a little bit.
Well, I like it because you can watch every single game. That's the purpose of paying for it, because you're a fan of the league. I want to be able to watch every team in the league.
But do you want to watch the Pistons play, who was another trash, the Spurs? Keep Wemby out of it. But
I'm a gamer. Like, I like to have the option to watch them all. Like, that's what I zone out and watch.
Well, it's not like they're taking away the option. They're just saying, hey, you can watch one game if you want to.
I feel like from a business standpoint, they would have to operate differently and the price may be higher.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I were them, though. Saying, hey, $500 for the whole thing, $500 for the whole thing, or $90 per team.
Right. Yeah.
The good news for the league is they actually have an agreement, because they kind of maybe saw it coming, and they have to split. So even if this happens, because the Chargers, which is considered a small market team, even though it's LA. Like, not a huge fan base. The Packers, not a huge fan base. I mean, they do, but like just the population aspect of it. They're all going to split the revenue regardless. So even if everyone just buys Cowboys, it all goes into one pool and then it's distributed. So it's not like they're missing out on anything.
Goodell didn't like the verdict, obviously. I think
no, not at all.
Yeah. He's like, hey, this is bull crap. We're not going to make as much money.
They're going to pay a lot.
How is that payment going to work, though? So if I bought NFL ticket and I'm like, hey, I actually only wanted to watch the Cowboys, do I file a complaint?
I think it's going to be like one of those, you ever get those emails for class action lawsuits?
Yeah.
So like we signed up for a Savage race one time.
Yeah.
The whole thing rained out. And in the contract, it's like if it rains out, you don't get a refund or something along those lines. And there's a huge class action lawsuit, and they're like, you're entitled to $4. And I'm like, I'm not going to file for $4. Because whatever the settlement was after lawyers' fees is split up, it was like, here's your part. And then whoever doesn't claim it, the lawyer's going to keep it. So it's actually a huge, great thing for the lawyers.
You get $1.75.
That's right. And I'm like, it seems
you
like
a pack of Skittles with that. You can do a lot with $1.75.
In this economy?
You have a full meal at McDonald's.
Back in the day. Shout out Greg and his
goodness gracious
vulture fingers.
Talons.
Those talons coming down to eat a McMuffin.
Golly. And then I'll have another McMuffin.
Gosh, I've never had. So, side note for those of you who were confused 2 seconds ago, which is probably everybody. We were 4th of July hiking in the Rocky Mountains, and I don't think Three Bachelors packed as much food as perhaps we needed to.
We were starving.
We were very grumpy the last day.
I had eaten so much trail mix. I had trail mix and beef jerky for 3.5 days.
Just passing beef jerky.
It couldn't be. We were burning so many calories. I think that was the thing too. And I never told y'all I got altitude sickness the first day. My head was throbbing so hard. If I thought it was going to explode.
I thought you were just grumpy.
Nah, I was just. I was like, man, I got laid down.
But we get down from the mountain. My shoes fall apart on the descent, so it was actually nice because I didn't have to. My hiking shoes, I just threw them away. I was like, well, that's that.
Yeah.
We get to McDonald's, and I think I have a $24 breakfast order. I was like, give me, go ahead and give me 2 of them Egg McMuffins, give me 3 of them burritos, give me a sausage McGriddle and the biggest coffee you have.
Yeah.
No, for here, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll eat it all.
3 hash browns.
Yeah, and then Greg's a fool and only orders 3 entrees. And I'm like, he's gonna eat more of that. And
he ate all that. The funniest that was the first time I'd ever had a full meal with someone. And they were like, I'm gonna go back and order again. You're like, really?
Still hungry.
You're getting a second tray.
Y'all don't go nowhere, okay? I'll be right back.
This ain't Luby's, dog. Oh, gotta love a good buffet. What was your second business note?
Oh, so this is a cool one. So Bally Sports is going bankrupt.
Of course,
they're the ones who bought out Fox Sports with another antitrust suit. But they're going bankrupt and they don't want to handle the Stars anymore, the Dallas Stars. So now the Stars are starting their own network, but it's going to be for free. So that's going to be the difference between them and other, like I think the Dodgers have a network, the Yankees have a network that shows their games, but you have to add them on, either pay for the cable package or buy them outright, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
They're going to launch what's called the Victory Plus app.
Okay.
And they're going to stream the games for free and just sell commercials.
You think that
freaking awesome.
That's a push to try to sell tickets?
Well, so part of the problem,
like encourage people to watch more, and then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, let's go to a game."
Yeah, and I mean, the leagues make their money. Hockey a little more so from the fans, but the leagues make their money from the advertisers. You know, that's like when KD signed with the Warriors, is because they signed a huge deal with ESPN,
right?
And so the salary cap jumped, and so
the
biggest problem with what's that?
Well, side note that, but they just signed a new deal like today.
Oh, the league did?
Yeah, like an 11-year deal. We'll look that up here in a minute.
Yeah, sounds good. So with the Stars, Bally going bankrupt because cable isn't what it used to be. And so then they were trying to stream games, but no one was buying in. Like, I haven't watched a Mavs regular season game except for the national games. Same thing with the Stars. So I watch like 2 games a year before the playoffs and then catch the highlights. But that's been the biggest problem. You have a great team in the Stars right now and the Mavs, and you can't watch them.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're in market, you got to buy this app or, pay $25 a month to watch your team. And it's like, no, thank you. Yeah. Just a no, thank you for me. Like, I want to watch the games when they're convenient, but I just, especially like with young kids, I don't know when I'm going to have a night to watch the game. So this is really cool. And I'm going to download the app and I'm going to watch more games. And what's funny too is somehow Dude Perfect is involved.
Really?
So APMC is like the streaming group that Dude Perfect is involved with. So somehow Dude Perfect, who is somehow involved with everything.
Yeah.
They're the ones running a shadow government, I think.
The world government. I wonder what that means for like the Spurs, because there's a couple different. They also are by Bally Sports. So is Bally Sports just no longer going to have any, I guess, rights to these games?
I think it's just with the Stars for now, because Bally wanted out from under the contract, and the Stars, I think, were losing.
They're repositioning. They're realigning.
Yes. And so they kept the Rangers, they kept the Mavericks as far as I know.
Yeah.
And those are their 2 big pulls. So it's like, Stars are like, well, we ain't getting that much money from y'all anyway, so let's try something different. Maybe we'll get more from ads.
We're going to make our own app, baby.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited.
I think that's awesome. I may actually tune in more.
Yeah. Let's go Stars.
Because I'll have their app.
All right. What do you got on the NBA?
NBA, not a lot. I think the
signing.
Olympics? The Olympics is the main thing I've been tuned into now.
Gotcha.
I think, what'd you think about the no of Kawhi being sent home?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It sounded like Grant Hill was doing a press conference, and he kind of made it sound like they made the decision. I don't know if he's like a VP of basketball operations for Team USA or something like that. But essentially, they were like, yeah, we were kind of seeing him in practice and just made the decision it probably would be best for him to not play with us. And it's like, you think that he was trying to do like load management in the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm surprised he even went, to be honest, with given his injury history. And
he was hurt in the playoffs or didn't play because of that.
Mm-hmm. So, so I don't know if it's an injury thing. Were you surprised, though, that Derek White took his place instead of Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown, maybe he said he didn't want to go or something like that. I figured they would probably ask him first. But there's no telling. I mean, am I surprised by that? No. I thought it was a great pickup. I thought it would have been cool because a lot of people have noted they usually have like a couple young guys at the end of the bench that don't really play. Like AD 10 years ago or 12 years ago. Right. He was like 19 and sat on the end of the bench with like Kobe and Melo and those guys. After the Cooper Flag kid was cooking the other day, I was like, that would have been kind of cool if they would have picked him up.
Just go for it, yeah.
Like just have a 17-year-old. I don't even know if he's allowed, but having him at the end of the bench, like something like that, I think would have been fun. Or I guess you couldn't pick up Wemby. He's with France. But somebody like another young buck in the league, maybe Chet.
Get Chet in there, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just throw somebody in there.
Canadian, but other than that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, though, what's interesting, because I think Germany did really well last time with Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
But I think Canada, I know the U.S. just beat them down pretty good. But teams like that.
Canada's team, though, they got a squad.
Yeah, they do. So it was a double-digit win. But I tell you what, like, there's some teams out there you're like, okay. Because they have a real defined hierarchy of like, this guy's getting the ball. This is the system. Let's roll with it. So the U.S., you have so many ballers that sometimes they may defer a little too much.
I will say, though, this may be my favorite Olympic team since 2012. There's just something about it's a good mix of old guys and kind of like younger guys and middle of the road guys. And they've kind of got a good mix of like role players. Like they added Drew Holiday, Derek White. He's a role player. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think they're going to win. But
I hope
you're
so.
right. There are a couple teams that are pretty competitive or could be competitive. Luka, they're out. He's not going to be there. So,
I'm okay with that.
I think
I want to see him. I want to see him do well, but also, man, rest up, dude.
Yeah, he needs to rest. So, the only other piece was we hadn't talked about the Kings, DeRozan yet to the Kings. If that was going to make a difference at all, I like it. I like the pickup. I think it's great.
Puts them ahead of the Clippers in my mind.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Especially now, it probably puts. Would you put them in the top 6?
So here was what I would say. This is for a short later. Here is what I would say is my, I don't know, top 6-ish. Let me be more confident here. Here's my top 6 in the West. OKC, because they got Caruso. The Mavs did some great things in the offseason. So I got them number 2 in the West.
Dang.
Got Clay. Even Clay, like it's real close though, because Caruso, and then they got Hartenstein, which is going to help their rebounding. So they got the 2 guys that kind of like help to try to help them beat Dallas, was basically what it was. So I got OKC number 1, I got the Mavs number 2, but it's real tight.
Yeah,
I got the Wolves number 3. They didn't do really anything to impress me this offseason too much, but just the fact that the Nuggets lost. Who'd they lose?
KCP.
Yeah, sorry. The Nuggets lost KCP, so I'm kind of down on the Nuggets for number 4. 5, the Suns. 6, the Kings. 7, Pelicans. It all depends on Zion's health.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Suns have a bounce back year, but yeah, I mean, I think 5 would be best for them. 5, 6.
Yeah, right in that range.
LA, man. I think LA is going to have a bounce back year. You got them in the play-in?
The Lakers, yes. Got them as, I think, number 8. I like the Pelicans.
Don't sleep on the Spurs.
Spurs, I think, are going to challenge for a play-in spot. That's where I think they're going to be.
But I think so, too. I don't think they'll be any better than that. But you never know, man. They make a couple moves at the break. Trade Harrison Barnes for somebody. Put together a deal.
Hey. Trade Chris Paul for somebody. Let's see. So winners and losers of the trade deadline. So who do you think were the winners and who do you think were the losers of free agency? I said trade deadline, but I meant free agency in the beginning of the league year.
I think the winners, well, obviously, I think number 2 is the Mavs. But I think I'm going to go with number 1 being the 76ers.
Yeah. They got the big dog.
Adding PG, the 3rd star, was great. And they just re-signed Kyle Lowry, who's 38.
Let's go. I love that guy.
I think it's a vet man. They also got Caleb Martin, who, like I noted, he was in the finals 2 years ago. He started for the Heat. And he turned down a big deal from the Heat to go join Philadelphia. So I think they're the winners of this. They got Nick Nurse, and they can compete in the East. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. The loser for me? Let me think on that one. Who's your winner?
All right, so winners, you already said 76ers, so I like that.
Okay.
I like the Mavs as a winner. You get Klay Thompson. You get off to dang it, Tim Hardaway Jr. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know. I've been studying fantasy football for like 3 days, so I'm like,
you get rid of
names, man. Yeah, you get off Tim Hardaway Jr. You bring in Klay Thompson. Quentin Grimes, I think, is going to bring you something. Yeah, I just like what they did. The Thunder, like I mentioned, you bring in Caruso and Hartenstein.
Big time.
I like the Knicks. I know they kind of went all in on Mikal Bridges, but I like it. Like you got a win now window. First rounders for the next 4 or 5 years, as long as they got Brunson and that core together, like they're not drafting in the teens even. So might as well give them some picks and go for it. So those are my winners. The only losers I have are actually the two, oldest franchises, most storied franchises, excuse me, the Lakers.
Yeah.
They wanted Clay. They didn't get Clay. They wanted DeRozan. Couldn't get DeRozan. So this is an interesting thing for LeBron to not be able to get players he wants, which he usually does. So I don't know what that says about the culture in LA, if people don't believe in JJ Redick or what's going on there.
Of all that.
Yeah, but it's like it's the Lakers, man. They always get free agents. Like if there's ever a team that rebuilds in a heartbeat because of their name value, it's the Lakers. And yet
vibes off right now. You got LeBron in his twilight. Yeah.
Don't know what to think about Redick.
My loser is Golden State. I don't know if they're the worst loser. I think losing one of your big three, that's got to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up a couple guys, but they're somewhat in the same boat as the Lakers for me. It's like, man, what are they going to do? Drag it out with Curry? Like I was saying, trade him to OKC, get 7 draft picks, call it good.
Tell you what, you give me everything, and we're good.
Yeah, we'll be good with that.
Be good. The other loser I had was the Celtics, just because the Knicks got better, the 76ers got better, and they lost KP for a good. What I've been reading, I'm not sure he's going to start the season playing. He might be.
He's going to be. I imagine he'll be out the first 20 games.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, 20 to 25. And the way he's kind of historically been injury prone.
Right.
If I'm them, it's like, hey, give me 40 games in the regular season and then be ready to go for the playoffs. And that's
it just seems like it's always something with him. He's healthy, then he steps weird and breaks a bone or tears something that you shouldn't tear. And same thing when he was with the Mavericks. He played a game and then tore his meniscus on a nothing play. And so
when your legs are that much longer, there's so much more opportunity for injury. Like there truly is. I kind of say that jokingly, but being a big guy like that, yeah, it happens. So kind of like Embiid. I feel like Embiid's always hurt.
Same thing. It's like there's a thing about being taller than 7'3".
Yeah.
If you're taller than 7'3", you're super injury prone.
Right.
So I think Embiid might be right there. So watch out for Wemby and these lanky, tall guys. There's something about that. The body's just not designed for that.
You got to do a lot of yoga. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Sun to morning moon. There you go. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste in bed.
Namaste. Yeah, not a lot going on with the league. Enjoying the off season, and then once the Olympics pick up, I'm ready to watch Team NBA or Team USA. Sorry,
they're all in the NBA.
Yeah, they're all NBA guys.
Why did I thought Joel Embiid was from Cameroon, by the way. Why is he playing for Team USA?
I don't know if he's got dual citizenship or how that works.
It's kind of like France. All their players are from Africa on the soccer team.
I mean,
but they all play for France. Yeah, he's from Cameroon.
The majority of USA is African Americans.
Yes, but I mean born.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see here. It's a French national team. 87% of them are immigrants or children of immigrants. Let's see here.
Okay.
Yeah, they were joking because the team that won the World Cup, they were all from Africa. And so it was funny. Hugo Lloris is French. Mbappe was, Pogba was born in France, but to Ghanaian parents. Samuel, this is the French team that won the World Cup. Umedi was born in Cameroon. Another guy was born in Angola. Let's see. Another one born here, born there. Where's the other? Yeah, they get a lot from Africa. They import a lot of their stars, so it's kind of awkward. Kind of awkward.
Yeah.
But
that's part of the game, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it is.
It's all about
it is for sure. Part of the game. Euros update. We have our sad goodbye to Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. So you think he's done?
I think he's either done or should be done. He wants to play in the World Cup one last time, try to lead, but he's just not 41.
Is he going to be 41? Is he 41 now?
He's 39 now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. He'd be 41 then. Didn't he have like a cryptic answer at the end?
Yes.
Like, I may be back.
I could be ready for World Cup. Yes. But the dude, like, he's my GOAT by far. By the way, I did call 0-0 in penalties against France. I said 0-0 in penalties. I had them winning, but they lost. But yeah, he's my GOAT.
Did you go?
He's my GOAT, 100%.
Man, he's
I
up
love
there.
him because he can play in any system. He evolved over the years.
I'm going to take Messi. I'm going to take Messi just because I like the look over the shoulder thing.
Rude. I'm a Messi hater.
Yeah.
I also have.
I realize
we're going to do sports conspiracies this week, or should we do that next week?
Yeah, I don't know any right now unless you have one you want to throw out there.
I have two, but I'll explain. I'm not quite prepared. But let's talk Ronaldo for a second. So my complaint on international game is it was very safe. It was a safe game. Expected goals is like how many chances they create, and their expected goals was Portugal 1.7, France like 1.3. So it was very, very not a lot of chances created.
Right.
So then they lose in penalties. Ronaldo led Portugal to 2 international trophies. They won the Nations League and the Euros, their first trophies ever. They had never gotten even in a final before him. And yeah, he's an interesting figure because he's very alpha male type, very about himself. So he brings a lot of criticism, but also there's a lot of like unfair media crap about him that always drives me insane. Because like, for example, there was one where he ripped a microphone out of a reporter's hand and threw it into the lake. But I think that everyone was up in arms about that until they found out that reporter, if I remember right, was with a magazine that reported that his mom was a prostitute, which is a lie. God. And so he's like, you get out of here. The other one that got me really, really angry. So he is the all-time leading scorer in men's international football. 130 goals. He's got like 20 more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So here's kind of the controversy. When Messi broke the record for men's South American goal scorer, Fox Soccer had this huge post like number one scorer in South American history. Yeah. It's like a picture of Pele and Maradona clapping on him and all this stuff. And he broke the continental record for South America. So when Ronaldo breaks the international record, the big one that stood for a while, they post to say that he's moved in the top 10 of all-time scorers and posted the 9 women ahead of him for the women's game.
Ooh.
And it's like, that's a different game. It's a different sport.
That is basically. There's a tactic there.
There is. They want you to get angry because they like it's what John Cena said at the ESPYs when it's like the good guys become the bad guys and the bad guys become the good guys in sports. LeBron's the good guy. Then he's the bad guy. He goes to the Heat. Then he's the good guy. He goes back to Cleveland. But the Warriors are the good guys until they get KD. Now they're the bad guys.
Right.
And it's like, it's all just narrative. It drives me insane.
It's all narrative. I mean, it makes clicks and makes money. So welcome to the world. R.I.P.
Rest in Portugal.
I will say, I don't watch a lot of soccer. It may have been the World Cup. Would the last one have been 22?
Yes, in the winter,
I think it was probably 2018 then. He had one of the greatest assists I've ever seen in my life. I want to say it might have been in the quarterfinals, if they were in the quarterfinals. I'll have to find the clip. It's ingrained in my mind. He just lasered a ball like across the pitch.
Yes.
For a score.
Were they playing America that game?
I think they were.
So that was in the group stages. And I know like at the last minute.
Yes.
And
it was in the last minute.
I was watching with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had been injured. Because I know this one because he was injured. The U.S. actually advanced over Portugal.
I think so.
And we'd man-marked him heavy all game. Yeah. And then they get the ball in the wing and they give him an acre of space. And I was like, why are we backing off? And I'm like, here it comes.
And he just drained one to his homie.
Whipped it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And that was him at like 70%.
Incredible dude. Great player.
The Euro final is on Sunday. England won a last-minute winner. So if you ever have time, go back and watch that. I was stunned he shot it. It was a great goal.
I watched the end of it.
Oh, did you see the goal?
Yeah, and I've seen the English versus Spanish Twitter thing is cracking me up.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. So.
Spain will win 3-1.
Ooh. I'm going to go England.
England?
2-0.
So, and I'm going to tell you who the goal scorers are going to be, actually. So it's going to start off with a, let's see here. Who should score first? I think Spain will score first.
Okay.
I think like in the 17th or maybe like 18th minute, Danny Olmo, O-L-M-O, he'll score one.
You're going player.
I'm calling my shot. And then in about the 32nd, 33rd minute, England will get a penalty, and Harry Kane will score that. And then in about the 67th minute, the right back, Danny Carvajal, will score a header. And then in the 95th, 93rd minute, they'll tap in a late glory goal. Putting it in writing. Let's do this.
I'm going to go England 2-0. I'm going to say they score maybe in like the 41st minute.
Right before half, yeah.
Right before half, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they got one. And then they're going to score, they're going to get one late, maybe about at the 90th, 89th minute, right before stoppage time.
Little end cap.
Who it is? I couldn't tell you. I don't think I'm that. I don't think I'm that smart. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's go. I kind of hope England wins.
On it.
Da, 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 da. I kind of hope England wins. They haven't won in a long time, so
yeah, ever since we left.
Been losing since 1776. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
All right, one last question for you. How many mistakes do you like? Officiating mistakes do you like in a game? So there's big controversy in the Euros because guy goes to block the shot, Kane shoots it, and in the shot, he hits the guy's other leg. They call a penalty on the other guy, not on Kane. Dumfries is his name, spelled Dumfries, which cracks me up. And they reviewed it, and they confirmed it was a penalty, and the Dutch were like, this is ridiculous. So what are your thoughts on video replay?
So I've gone back and forth on this. Here has been my natural tendency has been I'm not a big review guy. I think I got burned out on it in the last decade with college football because they over review now.
And it takes forever.
It takes forever. It takes away from the game. And that when the challenges, I think a couple challenges a game is good. I think too many reviews takes away from the game, and reffing and missing calls to me is a beautiful part of the game. I think it's part of it from a political standpoint as well. You got to get to know the ref. You got to earn calls.
All right.
I like that side of it. I like kind of like the personality piece of that. And I like having some villains. Like in the NBA, you got Scott Foster. You got Tony Brothers.
Oh.
Like in the NFL, you have that big, like, muscly guy who gets more muscular every year.
Ed Hockley.
Is that his name?
Pretty sure. There's one guy who's just jacked.
So I like having flaws in the game. I'm not about... I think that adds to it. It adds to the drama. It adds to the arguments. And it gives us the ability to talk about Dez and the catch and for rules to change and for the game to kind of form naturally as opposed to having it robotic. I think that'd make it boring. You don't want everything to be right.
Right. Ed Hockley, by the way, 6'2", 220.
Man. Tough.
Man. Dude is jacked. Man. And
Listed. Yeah, he's probably 5'11". But yeah, that's my take on it. I like a little bit of wrong here and there, and I think it's fun when the game just kind of keeps going, and it also challenges the players.
Jacked Ed Hockley.
Yeah,
got some arm bulge going right there.
There's a challenge from a player's mentality standpoint to say, hey, that call was wrong. They screwed that up. I don't care. I'm going to keep going. We're going to win anyways. And I like that.
Yeah. I like,
That's
man,
my take.
it's such a hard balance because you want to get the obvious ones right.
Right.
But man, college football is really, I actually like stopped watching college football because of the replays. I was huge into college football for so long, and then the replays just kept dragging. Dragging. There was an A&M game I was trying to watch with my wife.
7 hours long?
Yes, it was like versus Tennessee, I think during the Johnny Manziel one, and it wasn't even an overtime game, and it just took forever, and it was killing me. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not fun. We're just so that's you can't. The original NFL challenge rule was you had 90 seconds. As soon as he went under the hood, he had 90 seconds. Like, if it wasn't clear and obvious, we don't change it. Yeah. And I really think you could do Sky Judge or something like that to really like change up. Like, hey, here's an obvious call, change that, and it could take 30 seconds. So what I was doing, I was looking because the MLB has been experimenting with balls and strikes in their minor leagues since 2019. And so, this is according to StatCast, 92% of take calls, like they didn't swing, were called correctly. 92.8. So, like,
it's pretty good.
That's 8% miss, though. Like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that 92% is up from 84% in 2008. And you're like, 84% not good. You're missing 1 out of every 5 ball or strike.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, let's see here. Oh no, where'd it go? Because there's like in the zone, the zone is the shadow zone. That's what they call it. Sorry, the shadow zone.
The box.
And so basically, everyone's like, they get the right 92% of the time. Well, yeah, if it's right down the middle, it's obvious. Or if it's way outside, it's obvious. But there's a shadow zone in the box, which is like a little bit the corners. They only get those right 81% of the time. Okay. So that means a corner, you got a 3-2 count and the guy hits the corner. There's a 20% chance it's going to be called the ball when it should be a strike. And that just feels, that one feels a little high to me.
It does. But being a baseball player, when I was younger, I feel like all that stuff to me is a part of the game. Because that's dialogue that you're having in the dugout. Dude, he's calling everything. He's calling that outside pitch, heads up. So that when you're up there and you see that outside pitch, you're like, I got to take this or else this might be a strike. So I feel like it varies by game. It varies as you go. And I think that's a fun part of it. But I could see it being frustrating at the professional level.
Right.
Maybe like in the MLB playoffs. Because then it's like, dude, these calls got to be right.
There's so much money involved too, and it's The problem is it's supposed to be objective. Like here is the strike zone.
Now that when money's involved, it's different. You're right. When money is involved, it does make it different because it's not your paycheck. Hey, it's got to be right, man. We need a best practice for pitches.
Best practice.
I don't hate it for baseball, strike and balls in particular.
Yeah.
I think won't they make some technology where they could see it?
They have it automatic, basically. So like if you're on MLB.com, as soon as the pitch goes in, they'll say this is a ball, it's a strike. Yeah. And it's very funny when it's like a ball and it's clearly in the strike zone. You're like, ooh, we missed that one. There's some like that where, I don't know. I just have a hard time when it's the clear rules. Because like pass interference is a little bit subjective.
Right.
But ball and strike should be pretty obvious. False start should be pretty obvious. Like you move before the snap. It's false start.
But you think that it may add more penalties to the game? Because they're going to catch everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm against it in football for subjective calls.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So holding is a little bit subjective.
Yeah.
But like false start and offside are pretty obvious. Or like too many men on the field. They can review that one because like 12 are on the field. This one's obvious.
Yeah.
So for the subjective calls, no. For the objective calls, yes. That's how I would rate it. Like pass interference should not have ever been reviewable. Yeah, they really screwed that one up in the playoffs that one time with the Rams and the Saints, but should never been able to challenge that.
So do you think AI robots are going to eventually replace referees?
In baseball, in 10 years, they're going to have automated balls and strikes. I think they'll still have an umpire on the field because there's still going to be fights and things like that. And just general watch the play at the plate, watch the guys. General officiating, you kind of need an arbiter. But yeah, I think they're going to use technology. They should use it to make it faster. But like I've said, in college football, it's the worst. Just like make it quick. Boom, boom. Spot the ball, and go.
Make it quick, make it fast.
Mm-hmm.
What else was I? What else do we have?
Goals. And that's it.
Ooh.
Goals.
My one goal that I've been thinking about more recently is that you challenged me to read 20 books. I think I've only read like 3.
Oh no.
So I can do it still. I got half a year.
Yeah, you got it.
That's the one I want to work on the most is getting my books going. So I'm going to make a list this weekend. I'm going to do my count. I'm going to start checking it off.
Let's go. Yeah, my golf goals. I break 95 different times. I think I'm already at like 3 or 4.
Okay.
I'm at least at 3. I think I'm at 4. 25 birdies. I've only had 3 of those, so I'm gonna lose that one hard. 100 pars. I should get that one because I have to add a bunch from the last few rounds. Break 85. Did that.
100 pars is good.
Yeah, break 80. That one's gonna be tough because I played the best round of my life. I had a triple bogey, so like if I just par that hole, which but if you duff a chip on another hole, whatever, you know how it is.
Yeah.
And then you think like, so I did lip out 2 putts, but I also lipped in 2 putts. So it's like
right.
Like, how am I going to get? Because there's been rounds where you get off the course and you're like, I could have been 7 shots better.
Yeah.
I don't know how many shots better I could have been yesterday.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you said. You may have 2 or 3. You're like, I would have made those, but then you also have 2 or 3 shots. You're like, I usually don't make those.
Yeah, I lipped a couple in that I was like, I shanked. Oh, it's in. Okay.
I usually don't chip that close to the hole 4 holes in a row, or whatever the case may be.
Yep. Look up the rule of 12 for chipping. That helped me a lot yesterday.
What is that?
Okay, so basically the rule of 12, you step off, so you're off the green. And then let's say it's 4 paces, 4 yards to the safe landing area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it's another 12 yards to the hole from there because you're like land, roll. So you land at 4 yards, it rolls 12.
Yeah.
So what you do, it's a little complicated, but then you divide 4 by 12. So that's 3. And then you subtract that from 12. So that's 9. So then what you do, you use your 9 iron to try to hit it to your landing spot. It's a little complicated. It's a little complicated, but it actually works really well. Because you're like, because it takes into account the loft, and you're like, okay, if you hit your spot, it's going to roll, and it's going to roll pretty close. So I used it, and I think 3 different times I hit the spot I was looking for, and I 1-putted from there. I was like, okay, that worked.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get it close. Because if you use a 52 or a 60, you might thin it, or you might leave it short. But then it's like, okay, if I have a spot I'm looking for, and I hit it to that spot and let it roll, I think it'll be good there, and it works. So rule of 12, guys, for chipping. Big fan. Considering my best was an 88 at this course beforehand, I knocked 4 strokes off of that.
Dang.
Big fan.
I will say one of my pluses from the holes I played yesterday is I hit my 6 iron 200 yards twice.
Stroked it.
Yeah, just launched it. Yeah. So that was a plus. And then I was chipping well around the greens.
Let's go.
So, I don't think I had any golf goals. I think my golf goal was to play more golf, which I have been.
Let's go.
And I've been having fun with it. My iron game is on. My driver game is completely, it's gone.
It's gone.
Inconsistent. And I got to fix it. So.
I drove horribly yesterday.
Yeah.
And then previously I drove really well and couldn't chip. So it's funny. Like you can only have one.
Yeah. It's the rule of one.
The rule of one.
Something bad is about to